What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another sports betting video. And yeah, after last night from that one from the one game line pick that I had for the Bears Commanders under 44.5, all I gotta say is yeah, big oof on that one. But we did hit with the Cole Kmet touchdown. We did miss on the Brian Robinson. I thought they had a chance right there at the goal line. Thought they were going to punch it in, but no, of course not. Why would they do that? It makes too much sense on first and goal to try and run it in with Brian. Let's just play action and throw it to Logan Thomas for a touchdown. A guy who, well, I mean, I guess he hasn't really been healthy, but yeah. And of course, DJ Moore. Who would have thought? 2 bills and 3 TDs on the night. And get this, he was the only wide receiver to catch a pass for the Bears. Oh, man. And, part of me wanted to try and stay away from that under, but I was like, nah, it'll be fine. Of course the Commanders had to go and score. Like, they couldn't just, they couldn't cut me some slack. Of course, they had to score over 60 points, But, it is what it is. Yeah. Going forward, however, what we're going to start with is some college games that I was actually looking at. And there are a few here. Some of the ones I'm eyeing, of course, Oklahoma at Texas, Washington State at UCLA, Alabama at Texas A&M. Texas A&M's playing some good football. Kentucky over at Georgia. Notre Dame at Louisville. And I think that might be it, depending on what the spreads are. I haven't looked at them yet for like USC and Arizona, Michigan, Minnesota, and Oregon State, Cali. I haven't really looked at them, at those spreads yet, which we're going to do actually right now. So I do have to make this as quick as possible, though, because I do need to be rolling, because last-minute stuff never seems to stop happening in my life, and I really wanted to get this out before the weekend. Like I said, these are all recommendations, bets that I'm either looking at playing or I'm definitely going to play. So first things first, let's take a look at the Oklahoma-Texas line. So right now, they have Oklahoma as the underdog, Texas as the favorite, and the line right now is 5.5. And I honestly don't. They have the over/under on 60 points. I think. I honestly think this could be one of those deals where the under is favored. And as far as Oklahoma and Texas goes, I might actually take the plus 5.5. Some of these spreads here, I think, yeah, right now you're not going to get much better. Plus 6.5. I mean, if you got bet 365, plus 6.5 is pretty nice at minus 110. Everywhere else, it's pretty much dead even. So I'm actually looking at maybe the Oklahoma Sooners at a plus 5.5. I don't think that's too bad. And of course the over/under 60.5 or 61. There are a few books that have it. PointsBet actually has it at minus 110. I might actually take the under on that. So I'm definitely looking at Sooners at plus 5.5 and possibly the under. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at there. So moving on. That's NFL. Washington State, UCLA. This is one that I actually really want to watch. Because Washington State, they have been playing some good ball up there, man. And right now, Washington State is going into UCLA. This is why I'm semi-new to college football. I've never really followed it this intently before. This is my first year actually aggressively following college football. I don't understand how Washington State can be 13th, yet wait. Am I looking at the wrong game? There's two. I keep forgetting there's two Washington teams. There's Washington and Washington State. And I'm trying to remember. Oh, this is bad. Anyway, Washington State is ranked 13, and I think this was the one I was eyeballing. The spread is 3.5, 3.5. I don't know I'm not sure how I feel about that. Let me see if there are any better spreads out there. Of course, OddsJam isn't going to load as quickly as I would like it to. Oh my God. Guys, I know I've promoted this site without even being sponsored or anything, but man, sometimes it can take a while to load, and I'm very impatient at this point. But yeah, Washington State coming in as the underdog into UCLA. I'm looking at plus 3.5. I think plus 3.5 isn't bad. That's William Hill. I've never heard of that. If you can get plus 3, I mean, they're basically the same thing, really. Plus 3, field goal. I mean, you have that at PointsBet at minus 105. I think that's fantastic. 3.5, you have them at all the other major sports books. But honestly, the best one is Caesars, and then of course, if you just go with the plus 3, PointsBet. So that's what I'm looking at as just the spread there. I know UCLA has had I think they've had a pretty decent year. I haven't had a chance to catch any of their games. Let's see. I'm kind of speed running this. Alabama, Texas A&M. I really hope I don't have to open the entire college football slate, but it's looking like I'm going to have to. View all games. This is going to... All right, good. It actually loaded pretty quickly there. Texas A&M and Alabama. Ooh, the line is... I thought the line was a little bit higher than 2. If you can find 3, I would not mind taking Texas A&M at plus 3. If not, I'm not a big fan of plus 2.5. That's a hard sell for me. And at that point, I would be looking at taking it at minus 2. Gosh, I don't know why this is taking so long to load. I mean, it could be one of those deals where a lot of people, it's Friday, probably a lot of people using this site. But yeah, if you can find somewhere, but they're showing the best one right here, plus 2.5. If you can find it or adjust it, pay for the extra points, I would definitely look at taking plus 3, 3.5, maybe even, I don't know, it depends on what the lines are. I can't get them to open right now. But definitely Texas A&M I'm looking at plus 3 if I can find it. Let's see. Kentucky and Georgia. Now, I had heard about Kentucky, I think they, demolished Florida last week. 33-14. I heard the run game was absolutely insane. And this Georgia team, they're ranked number 1, but they have not looked like a number 1 team. They've had flashes. I mean, you take away Brock Bowers last week, and that Georgia offense just didn't look that great. So I think Kentucky could be a sneaky dog here. I'm trying to find it on here. I know everybody's probably screaming Control F, but yeah, I think I have to load more games, and it's probably not even going to bring it up. Here we go. Kentucky and Georgia plus 15. That's actually pretty good on Barstool. That's really good. Plus 15 on Barstool. I'm considering taking that, believe it or not. I know I don't expect them to win outright, but I do expect that game to be closer than it should be, even though this is a real test for Georgia to basically prove that they are a number 1 ranked team if they're going to win by multiple touchdowns. But I could see this being a 10, 13, 14 point differential. A lot of it depends on, though, if Kentucky can have some of the success that they had running the football last week. Notre Dame and Louisville. That is another one. It would help if I just look at the times. 7:30. Okay. Notre Dame has been playing really well, even though the line is only 6. I might take the -6 on Notre Dame. From what I've seen out of Notre Dame, they played Ohio State down to the wire. So I think the -6. I haven't seen Louisville at all this year. I haven't watched any of their games or any of their highlights. But I think I think Notre Dame, if they were going to bounce back, they could bounce back against Louisville after that tough loss against Ohio State. And a -6 does not seem bad. And again, it's cut. And I keep telling myself I need to sign up for cut, and I keep forgetting. -6 at -106 is actually really good. And I think that's a line to jump on, -6. Okay, haven't looked at any of these other ones. Michigan and Minnesota, that line should be insane. Yeah, -18, +19. Yeah, I don't think I'll be. Paying attention to that one. Let's see. And USC at Arizona State or Arizona University of Arizona. That's not even. Just for the laughs, I don't know. I'm not going to load any more games. Let's see. I think those are all the college games that I was going to look at. There's the Oregon State and California. If you can get the -7, I think I would take that. Or I think from what I hear, California has actually not been terrible. But I think if you can find -7 on Oregon State for a reasonable number, I think that's worth taking. And yeah, that's going to do it for college. For NFL, now the number one thing I want to talk about are some pretty big injuries. First of which being the Dolphins placing left tackle Teron Armstead on injured reserve. I know he hasn't really played a whole lot even after coming to the Dolphins, but that is something to keep in mind. Some of the games, for the games that I'm tracking, this is what I'm going to do. Jacksonville at Buffalo. So Greg Rousseau, Tre'Davious White, he's on IR. Rousseau is actually going to be out. That's a big loss on the defensive side. But it is looking like they may get Von Miller back. He is questionable coming back from that knee injury. But two big defenders from the Bills being out this weekend, and they had the travel. They had that, had that big win against Miami, and then now they're flying, 6 hours across the pond to England. I think Jacksonville, that +5.5. I think that's a sneaky one right there. You could even go with the under 48.5 on points as well if you want to parlay that. These two both had on cut. Okay, I'm making a promise to myself, and you guys can hold me to it if I don't do it. I'm signing up for cut tonight, and I'm going after these spreads because a lot of these lines that they're offering are just crazy, in my opinion. I mean, I'm no sharp bettor here, but I can tell, I can see a good line, a good odds when I see one. But I think under 48.5 and +5.5 on the Jags, I think that's a sneaky good parlay there. Yeah, just because Jacksonville already being there, they're losing Devin Lloyd. Parker Washington, I don't think he's played yet this year. Devin Lloyd not playing is kind of a big loss, but the rest of the players, I think that's supposed to be questionable. Zay Jones, if they can get Zay Jones, that would be a big bonus. Jordan Poyer is back. Well, is off the report after being limited with the knee injury, and Von Miller could make his debut. And then there's Christian Benford. He's a defensive back with that shoulder injury, questionable to play. And then Greg Rousseau is going to be out. And then, losing Devin Lloyd is big. But these guys are all questionable. So I say it's looking good for the Jags. All right, Detroit Lions -9. Well, they're looking at it's looking like -9.5. But as far as the injuries go, Dante Jackson is limited after that shoulder injury. Xavier Woods is out. was held out of practice. So, and let's see, I think the rest of these guys were limited. Yeah, Brian Branch and Frank Ragnow. Well, he was resting mostly, and Amon-Ra St. Brown as non-participants. Though he is saying he's going to play. Brian Branch, that's really that's going to come down to a game time decision, in my opinion. Taylor Decker and Emmanuel Mosley, that's going to be. This is a big one. St. Brown again did not practice, but I really think. I remember reading somewhere that he said he's going to play even if he's not at 100%. So, which I think is an unnecessary risk. If Jamison Williams is back, I don't think they need to rush Amon-Ra St. Brown back on the field. But yeah, if we can get this doggone window to open, I'm being dead serious. I've never had this thing take so long to open. All right, moving on. I've decided to move away from this game just because of all the injuries and a lot of the Ravens starters are coming back healthy. I think I'm going to be staying out of this game. The Texans and the Falcons might be something I may, because the Falcons don't have anybody on the injury report right now. I think this is a game, and there's a few games like this, actually this one and the Saints-Patriots game I'm going to tease. I might tease the Falcons and the Patriots, like a 6-point tease and a parlay. And there's actually a few other ones too. But that's a might. I may pass on that. I'm not 100% sure. And then there's especially with a mash unit here for the Patriots. But both of these teams are on must-win situations. The Falcons got embarrassed by the Jags in London. They're back. They're pretty much rested, and they're looking to kind of get back on track. They're at home. Desmond Ridder, from what I've heard, he hasn't lost at home at all ever. So that is something to keep in mind. In my opinion, those things, those stats can always be, rather trivial, but it's worth keeping in mind. And like I said, I'm thinking about teasing the Falcons and Patriots ultimately. And as for the Giants, Miami Dolphins, this just seems to be getting. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's just ridiculous. Come on, man. All right. I give up. I'm not even going to. You guys can line shop. I don't have time to sit here and wait all day, unfortunately. I wish I could. The line's at 11.5. I remember I could have sworn earlier in the week the line was at 10 or 11. I think it might have been 11. So the line is continuing to move. More and more money is being placed on this. I don't know how I feel about the. I don't know. As bad as the Giants looked, man. I mean, it's easy. It's real easy to want to take that minus 11.5. And that is one that I'm strongly considering. I'm not 100% sold yet because I just don't know. I don't know. Because you could get burned. You could get burned. They could win by 10 for all you know. Even though the Giants looked terrible, it could just be one of those weeks. Because that's the one thing that I'm always worried about when it comes to these double-digit spreads is the NFL just having one of those NFL Sundays where nothing goes right. So, but given that the Giants do have a slew of injuries, their offensive line is an absolute mess right now. But the thing is that I haven't been very impressed by the Dolphins pass rush, so I don't know. And they are. This is other big news. I don't think he's going to play this week, but big news for the Dolphins. They traded for Chase Claypool. So after River Craycraft going to injured reserve, they are adding Chase Claypool, which is pretty big news. Don't know how he's going to work in. Don't know how much he's going to be utilized. Probably in the red zone, but hey, look, we got the highlights here. Let's see, Titans Colts. This one I'm not sure. I thought about teasing this one as well, maybe teasing the Titans. And then Bengals, Cardinals. This is another one. Like there are a lot of games here where you could tease, because this one I don't know what to make of this matchup here. I mean, the Bengals have just looked so off this entire year, and the Cardinals have surprisingly looked very strong, which I did not see coming. I've already locked in my bet for the Rams this week, and this is a big one here. Fletcher Cox missed practice due to a back injury, and for defensive linemen dealing with a back injury, that's never good. And also, Cam Jurgens did not practice as well, so that's a losing any offensive lineman is always a struggle if they're not able to play. But for the Rams, they have their own offensive lineman issues too. Alaric Jackson and Joe Noteboom, and also Kyron Williams. They didn't play yesterday, or they didn't practice yesterday. I haven't seen any updates, but there is a chance for Cooper Kupp to actually play this week if they activate him to the roster. So if Kupp plays, I think this line is going to shift even further down. So I would strongly consider jumping on the +4 or better. I think right now +4.5 on FanDuel is pretty good. If you can get 5, that's even better. The Chiefs -5. Look, everyone is saying the Chiefs love to win and hate to cover spreads. I'm telling you, I don't see a situation in sports where the Chiefs don't win by 7 or more. Or I'm even willing to go as 10 or more. Because the Vikings defense is so bad. Their offensive line is subpar. And don't get me wrong, Kirk Cousins, he can play and he's got the weapons to do it. But man, like, after what happened against the Jets last week, I don't see the Chiefs cutting another close one with playing down to their opponent again. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Jets defense is fantastic, and the Minnesota Vikings definitely do not have anything close to that resembles the Jets defense. So there's no reason to skip this. I think -5 is a fantastic spread, and I honestly think they're just begging you to take it. And where? Oh, here. No. Wait, why am I... Wait, October 8th. Oh, 4th. Yeah, here we go. Sorry. Look, even on cut, it's -3.5, so it's gone down. The line has actually come down. Okay, if you can get -3, okay, I don't know how old this injury report is, but that needs to be updated. Yeah, the line's come down to 3.5. If you can get -3, slam that all day. There's no way the Chiefs are not going to win by 3 or more. I just don't see it. And if they somehow don't cover the spread, then I'm gonna be convinced that the NFL is partially rigged. I'm gonna join that conspiracy theory. Jets Broncos, another one I'm not very interested in. Another possible tease if you want to tease the Jets. And the Broncos coming in as favorites. I mean, I know they had that win against Chicago, but come on, it was Chicago, and they had to battle back to get that win. The Jets just went toe-to-toe with the defending champions. So, and then we got Dallas. I'm not really interested in this one too much. I ultimately think the 49ers are going to win, but it's not something it's one of those games where anything could happen, and I'm just not ready to pull the trigger on that 3.5. If you want to go -3, I would say take that, because I ultimately think 49ers will win. Packers, no injury report yet, and I'm not going to be here this weekend, so unfortunately I won't be able to make any videos leading up to Monday Night Football, but I am going to take the Green Bay spread. And yeah, so that's going to do it for today's video. Sorry I had to rush through everything. Sorry I was all over the place. But with that being said, let me know what you think in the comment section below. What are your picks? What are some parlays you're thinking of running? Any player props? I didn't even have a chance to go through player props. If I can go through them real quick. CMC to score a touchdown here. Travis Kelce, I would say receiving yards, maybe even touchdown. Not together though, separate. Let's see. Here I would go Derrick Henry, obviously, on the rushing prop. I would actually look at Jalen Waddle because he's been quiet this year. Not super quiet, but he hasn't even scored yet. So I would say if I was going to do a scoring one, I would say Jalen Waddle and also his receiving prop for this one. Nothing. No. And no. So those would be the only player props I'm interested in. Okay, there. I got you some player props. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe on the way out. And best of luck to everyone this weekend. I will talk to you all next week.